Good afternoon, Dr. Sarno, and happy Halloween. Today I'll be doing my project and presentation on John Calvin's Genevan Psalter. And I actually found an article that kind of sums up what Calvin believed, and I got this from mercatornet.com. And the quote is, Calvin was impressed by the difference between Strasbourg congregations, which he went to from Geneva, where people of all ages and social provenance were singing hymns with fervor, and the coldness of the congregation he had left from Geneva. Calvin was a humanist, which means that they believed that humans have free will, and that everybody should be involved in the church, not just royalty and not just rich people, but everybody. And the person I'm going to talk about here shortly, Martin Luther, is also a humanist. But this handsome fellow right here is John Calvin. And in the articles and the readings that you gave us was really helpful for this. In the second article, or a second paragraph, Calvin says, in fact, if one is able to be edified by the things which one sees without knowing that which they signify, St. Paul would not forbid so rigorously speaking in an unknown tongue. And he would not use this reasoning that there is no edification unless there is doctrine. It goes on to saying in the third paragraph, thus it is very great impudence on the part of those who introduce the Latin language into the church, where it is not generally understood, and there is neither subtlety nor casuistry, I don't know what that is, which can excuse them, because this practice is perverse and displeasing to God, which means if you don't know what you're singing, then how can you praise God, and how can you love God if you don't know what you're talking about? Which is one of his points. Another point, which I really like, it says, we shall speak later of the sacraments. As for the public prayers, there are two kinds, the ones with the word alone and the others with singing. So singing is very important with the church. It goes on to say, and even St. Paul speaks not only of praying by mouth, but also of singing. And in truth, we know by experience that singing has great force and vigor to move and inflame the hearts of men and women, to invoke and praise God with a more vehement and ardent zeal. Care must always be taken that the song be neither light nor frivolous, but that it have weight and majesty, which the song I picked today does have that. And also there is a great difference between music, which makes one to entertain men at the table in their houses, and the psalms, which are sung in church in the presence of God and his angels. So the second person that I'm going to talk about today, which was actually a friend, or they respected each other, of Calvin's, and his name is Martin Luther. Martin Luther was a priest, author, composer, and a monk who actually composed a lot of hymns. But a quick fact, today, October 31st, 1517, Martin Luther was the one who nailed the 95 Theses on the door to kind of go against the church, mostly because of the get out of hell free card that the church was doing. So anyway, moving on, so this handsome gentleman here also is Martin Luther. The song I chose today to show what Calvin was talking about, and a great example of what Calvin was talking about, is called A Mighty Fortress is Our God, or Ein Festberg. I found this manuscript here on IMSLP, and it really does follow really closely with the Neumes how A Mighty Fortress is sung today. Now I'm going to sing A Mighty Fortress for you real quick, and let you hear it. So it goes. A mighty fortress is our God, a bulwark never failing. Our helper he amid the flood, of mortal ills prevailing. For still an ancient foe doth seek to work us woe. His craft and power are great, and armed with cruel hate, on earth is not his equal. So you can kind of see, if we go back here, kind of follows it. A mighty fortress is our God, a bulwark never failing. So it kind of follows the same thing. So again, A Mighty Fortress shows the weight and the majesty of God shows a lot of consonants. It's very majestic. Um, and it's in English, or it was in German, I guess, uh, so that helped them then. But with us, it's in English. So how can we praise God if we don't know what we're singing about, which is one of his points. So there it is: John Calvin, Martin Luther, Ein Festwerk, and A Mighty Fortress. I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and have a good day. Happy Halloween.